Althea, you've had quite a journey too of your awakening, and you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, of course. So for me, it all started when I was actually very young. I was one of those kids who would see like shadows and couldn't sleep. And really, I started opening up from a very, very young age. I then found out getting older that both my mom and my grandmother had the same gift. So it kind of was sent down the matriarchal side of my family. And then getting a little bit older, becoming a teenager, I started to feel very overwhelmed. Like there was a lot going on, and I started picking up energy. But no one teaches you in school how to shield your energy or how to, navigate life in the energetic realm. So I started kind of like finding ways to cope, which weren't maybe sometimes the healthiest. And as I kind of like went down and spiraled down a path. I had a few traumatic experiences like health scares and yeah, just like very intense experiences that then brought me to have a very big shift. So there were maybe like three pivotal points. I had one experience where I literally had beings come in my room, like this is third dimensional density, like they were physically there. And they woke me up and they were trying to do stuff to me. And I then was kind of like pushed back into the bed. And when I woke up, I heard them leave. And when I went back, I traveled back home. I was in Italy when this happened. I traveled back home to Cape Town, and I went in hypnotic regression. I did the QHHT Dolores Cannon method with a lady, and I went back as a higher version of myself to command these beings to leave me alone. And they, from the 3D experience that I was having, I was looking at myself, they turned around and looked at me as I was my high version of self accessing the quantum realm. So how do you come back from that? Like, how do you, how do you go back to a corporate job or like, a normal life? So, and then I was then told by my guides, they were like, you needed that because of how you are. You needed a very intense perception switch. You needed to, I'm a person, well, I was, not anymore, but I was very like, I'm not going to believe it unless I see it. So it needed to be, and it was obviously contracted. So that was one of the main things that happened to me. And that was back in 2017. So that was, yeah. And then from that, slowly, I started really radically changing my lifestyle. For me, I'm a firm believer that everything needs to rise together, the mental, the physical, the spiritual, and the emotional. So I work a lot with my clients in assisting them. Also, like I put a lot of emphasis on the physical, the exercise, the food. Like it's really important to be very grounded because a lot of people are opening up now and they're accessing here, but they're struggling to integrate the information because the systems aren't grounded. That was my problem as well. I was accessing this like vast, infinite realm of consciousness, and I was getting all this information, and I didn't know how to kind of like eradicate it and anchor it within my system. So that's part of what I do and how I help people. And what I've also learned is I feel like I was put through a lot of these experiences to share them, like with people. So a lot of people who come to me, have had these type of experience. I was in quite like a traumatic abusive relationship as well, which I got out of. I work a lot with women who also, have come out of that and are rebuilding, their strength, their kind of like their self-love and their self-trust. And then what I mainly work on and focus, and this is what they've shown me and how it works in a lot of energetic systems and with people. There comes a point, and I can't say when that exactly was for me. I can't pinpoint one moment, but there comes a moment where you get a certain degree in access of heart opening, and you go back and you merge back in the twin union of the source. So then you start operating from unconditional love. And you're not operating more from ego, from trauma. Yes, you still have, trauma and lessons, and you're still navigating your life, and you're still, being human, but you're operating from a space that is beyond the individual self. And that's what I try to guide people into doing, into getting there, into accessing, this part of self, so then they can go out and spread it with everyone.
Thank you. would you say it's just an individual one-on-one mission, or is your mission also in a way of planetary?
So, yeah, I mean, it's very interesting because we were having this conversation yesterday on how we are all expanding, on a collective level. I do a lot of collective work. I work a lot on the grids of the land, so I'll be sent to specific places and I'll activate ley lines within the land, and then I'll be sent to. It's quite funny. They send me to like concerts or like big events with lots of people, and then what I'll do is I'll go in specific places and then start clearing energetically. So for sure, definitely, like and I think everything is to an extent a choice. Like, if someone wants to do one work, then it's their choice. They can choose. When people come to me and they're like, "Oh, tell me my mission. What must I do?" Like, you can do whatever you want. Like, you're an infinite being of light. Choose your direction.
Well, that's great.